Hello and welcome. Tonight, explosions from improvised explosive devices leave 6 pupils dead in Gubbio town, Borno State. Police arrest 28-year-old suspect who allegedly killed Nabia and some other kidnapped victims abducted in the FCT. River State Governor Siminalayi Fubara describes political impasse in the state as distraction in his bid to deliver on his campaign promises. And Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger Republic withdraw their membership from ECOWAS, accusing the regional body of being influenced by foreign powers, even as ECOWAS says it is yet to receive formal notification from the 3 countries. Six pupils of the Sangaya Quranic Center in Gubbio town have been killed by improvised explosive devices which exploded near the center. Now, the incident occurred on Saturday when a metal scavenger unknowingly collected and stored various metallic items in a building close to the Sangaya school. According to information available to Channels Television, the scavenger collected an undetonated IED, which was abandoned among other scrap metals. This led to an explosion at about 2 p.m., claiming lives and causing severe bodily harm to others. Metal scavenging had been prohibited in Borno State by Governor Babagana Zulum since July of 2023, following reports of alleged vandalism of government facilities in abandoned communities. Justifying outlawing scrap metal scavenging, Professor Zulum pointed that many scavengers have fallen victim to insurgent attacks while venturing into deserted areas to pilfer items. Meanwhile, Borno State Governor Professor Babagana Zulum has described the recent explosion of landmines killing commuters, security agents and locals across different locations as renewed attempts to frustrate the rebuilding of destroyed communities and resettle IDPs to their ancestral homes. Governor Zulum, who was touring some of the communities in Dikwa, Mate and Ngala local government areas, says his government is working to find the conspirators from within the government and locals for appropriate sanctions.
It's the 10th annual lecture of Sir Hamadu Bello Memorial gracing the occasion, Borno, Gombe and Niger States. The foundation's chairman, Board of Trustees, laments the significant absenteeism of leaders, past and present, at the event, which aims to appraise performances of current leaders with that of the late Northern Premier.
People look up to us, whether former governor, whether former senator, or whatever position you hold within your community, people are looking up to you. And the primary purpose of governance and government is the security of the people.
The chairman of the Northern Governors Forum and the governor of Gombe State, Inuwa Yahaya, his Niger State counterpart, and the host of the event, Professor Babagana Zulum, take turns to speak.
Good governance and sustainable development were the 2 ideals principally that Sardauna stood for, and those that were in his team. And those were the 2 things that propelled the North, not only to match its peers at that time, the other 2 or 3 regions, but even to surpass them.
Prior to the discovery of oil, the northern Nigeria was an agri giant globally. Nigeria depended on agri-production. So what went wrong?
Our administration has actively collaborated with security agencies to enhance the security situation in the state. This includes providing support and resources to the military, police, and other security forces to strengthen their capacities in combating insurgency. Additionally, we have established a civilian joint task force that works alongside security forces to gather intelligence, protect communities, and counter insurgent activities at the grassroots.
The lecture, which is an annual event organized in memory of the legacies of the former premier of northern Nigeria, however, witnessed a poor attendance from the National Assembly, state governments, and traditional rulers.
The Pan-Yoruba Socio-Cultural and Political Organization, Afenifere, has again called on President Bola Tinubu to urgently convene a community stakeholders meeting to tackle the rising cases of insecurity in the country. In a press statement issued by the organization's National Publicity Secretary, Comrade Jari Ajayi, Afenifere believes that the mode of the phenomenon suggests that insiders have a hand in it. According to the group, insiders could be people who have a relationship one way or the other with kidnapped victims, like family members, business associates, or those with whom the victim has a social relationship. Afenifere also notes that some security experts have suggested that some unscrupulous security personnel might be involved, as attested to by a former general officer commanding 1 Mechanized Division Kaduna of the Nigerian Army, Major General Ali Kefi, in his recent letter to President Bola Tinubu. The group is therefore urging the president to summon the necessary political will to arrest this very ugly situation. Among the steps suggested by the group is the urgent conveyance of cluster meetings with various communities, where the stakeholders would be reminded of the risks and destructions associated with kidnappings. While that is going on, the Pan-Yoruba group is calling for the strengthening of security agencies, equipment, as well as remunerations and incentives, in addition to the deployment of modern technology for security purposes. Operatives of the Nigeria police have arrested one Bello Mohammed, a suspected kidnapper believed to be involved in the abduction and murder of Nabia, a daughter of a Buhari lawyer. A statement by Force PRO Olumoyiwa Adejobi says the arrest follows the raid on a hotel in Tafa area of Kaduna State, where the suspect was arrested with 2.25 million naira cash, suspected to be proceeds of ransoms collected from kidnapped victims within the area. According to the police, the suspect, during interrogation, confessed to being part of the gang that kidnapped the family members of one barrister Ario in Buhari FCT on January the 2nd this year, and then killed some kidnapped victims, including Nabia, the daughter of the legal practitioner, on January the 13th in a kidnappers' camp in Kaduna State. The suspect, in a dramatic situation, offered 1 million naira to induce the DPO, who rejected the offer and carried out his duty diligently. Inspector General of Police Kayode Egbetokun has ordered that the suspect be handed over to the DFI IRT in Abuja for discreet investigation into the matter and arrest the other culprits responsible for the dastardly act. In Rivers State, Governor Siminalayi Fubara says his administration is facing distraction as a result of the political crisis going on in the state, despite winning at the Supreme Court. The governor made the statement at the St. Paul's Anglican Church in his hometown of Opobo, where he attended a service in the aftermath of his victory at the Apex Court. Earlier in the day, Governor Fubara attended the 2024 Port Harcourt Holy Ghost Rally of the Redeemed Christian Church of God, the RCCG.
Governor Siminalayi Fubara of Rivers State begins his engagement at the Port Harcourt Holy Ghost Rally, an annual program by the Redeemed Christian Church of God. The General Overseer of the Church, Pastor Enoch Adeboye, is also here.
Father Almighty, we are saying thank you.
Held at the 40,000 capacity stadium in the state capital, former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, former APC governorship candidate in the state, Tonye Cole, and other political leaders are among the congregants. The theme, promoted for a purpose, seemed to resonate quite well with the governor, who acknowledges that it is a reflection of his life story.
The theme is not different from my story. I was promoted by God first through my party and the leaders of my party. So promotion comes from God and God alone.
From here, he leads his family, cabinet members, and political associates to his hometown of Opobo for a Thanksgiving service to mark his victory at the Supreme Court, as well as his 49th birthday anniversary. Governor Fubara admits that his government is facing distraction emanating from the political crisis rocking the state.
We were selected because they believed we had something that we would do for our state. We have not been given the opportunity to do those things that we ought to do for our state. We've had a lot of distraction But I strongly believe that while we navigate the path of peace, prayer is also needed for us to pass over this phase.
The governor expresses his desire for total peace in the state. He salutes the courage of his supporters and also calls for prayer from the church.
And the governor seems to have the backing of the Rivers State Elders and Leaders Forum, who's asking the governor to concentrate on delivering good governance now that the Supreme Court has laid to rest doubts to his stay as governor of Rivers State. This was contained in a communique issued at the end of a closed-door meeting by the forum and read by a former deputy governor of the state, Mr. Gabriel Toby. Mr. Toby appealed to the minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, to start playing the role of an elder statesman while calling on Governor Fubara to run a government where everyone is carried along.
They all are children, don't forget. And we will always play a role that pacifies frayed nerves. What we want is peace in the country. And this business of governance, we now have one governor on seat. Thank God Supreme Court has ruled that he's governor. So I guess he will settle down. What we now want them is, he, by being a governor of this state, immediate past governor, he has become an elder statesman, even though he's a minister, he's a politician. The problem with politicians is they don't know when to draw the line between politics and statesmanship. But what we want now is graduated to being a statesman. And the interest of this state, I'm sure, must be paramount in his mind. I have no doubt about that. And so all of us, including you, who sometimes stroke the fire, should now get into the realm of trying to pacify the place. Don't forget, without peace, nothing, there can be no development. And nobody pretends that he's happy when there's war.
In part two, after the break, we'll have more from the political situation in Rivers State. Plus, Imo State Governor Hope Uzodinma says President Bola Tinubu has what it takes to address the myriad of challenges confronting the country. Please stay with us. Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 coming to you on Channels Television Lagos. A reminder of our main stories. Explosions from improvised explosive devices leave 6 pupils dead in Gubbio town of Borno State. Police arrest 28-year-old suspect who allegedly killed Nabia and some other kidnapped victims abducted in the FCT. Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara describes political impasse in the state as a distraction in his bid to deliver on his campaign promises. And Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger Republic withdraw their membership from ECOWAS, accusing the regional body of being influenced by foreign powers, even as ECOWAS says it is yet to receive formal notification from the 3 countries. Staying with the Rivers crisis, some of the renominated commissioners have been speaking on the circumstances that led to their recall and eventual swearing in for a second time as commissioners. The commissioners who spoke during a grassroots democracy initiative rally in the Ikwere local government area of Rivers State say they were recalled based on the peace agreement brokered by the president.
It's a gathering of political players and heavyweights loyal to the FCT Minister Nyesom Wike initiative. Those in attendance here include some of the recently reappointed commissioners who used the opportunity of the event to clear the air on their reappointments.
we wouldn't have addressed this matter because it was our resolution not to address it. But while we are seated here, we saw a press release by the SA to the governor of Rivers State, Governor Similaye Shivara, that we resign on our own volition and return on our own volition. It is important that we correct the impression. We never returned to anywhere. We were recalled based on presidential proclamation. And I know those of you who are GDI members know that we are men of pedigree. We have pedigree. If we stand by something, we stand by that thing till the end of it. We did this in sacrifice for the peace and the progress of the nation.
Chairman of the local government area, Samuel Wanosike, also publicly apologizes to the governor for his unsavory comments about him, even as he says they have no regrets about the choice of Siminalayi Fubara as governor of Rivers State.
I want to tender an unreserved apology to the people of Nigeria for speaking in that manner and to say clearly that I regret that action and it's led by anger. And our focus is clear, and we know that our leader never made any mistake by choosing Siminalayi Fubara as the governor of Rivers State. In the interest of peace, however, one of the political leaders appeals to the governor to call on the FCT minister so they can resolve their differences amicably.
I have one thing to tell Sim Joseph Fubara, our executive governor, that did a third run to install. I beg you, I plead, take your phone and call Chief Ezebuoye on weekend.
The political situation in Rivers State is indeed heating up, with both sides engaged in the political chess game. But the expectation of many is that all parties can resolve their differences and the people can enjoy the benefits of good governance.
Over to Edo State, where one of the All Progressives Congress governorship aspirants, Ernest Umakie, says he is very much in contention for the 2024 Edo governorship ticket of the party. Mr. Umakie restated his commitment to his supporters at the Benin airport, where he confirmed that he has picked his nomination form. A group, the Edo Unity League Worldwide, had procured the expression of interest and nomination forms for him at the APC Secretariat in Abuja.
A delegation from an Edo-based social-cultural group, the Edo Unity League Worldwide, is at the APC National Secretariat in Abuja.
Thank you, sir.
As the days draw close to the Edo APC governorship election primaries next month, aspirants are expected to signal their intent by picking up the expression of interest and the nomination forms for a combined fee of 50 million naira.
Thank you.
I also present to you the nomination form.
The Deputy National Organizing Secretary of the APC, Chidi Duru, presents the forms to the Edo group. They have completed the transactions for the purchase of the forms on behalf of their member and an aspirant in the 2024 Edo governorship election, Ernest Umakie.
Hold it from here. Thank you.
Afterwards, the forms are formally handed over to the APC governorship hopeful.
I want to assure you, this confidence you have reposed in me, I will not fail you, I will not fail the people of Edo State.
Back in Benin City, the Edo State capital, Mr. Umakie is greeted with a rousing welcome on his arrival at the airport. He clears the air on the alleged screening out of some aspirants in the governorship race by the party's hierarchy in Edo State.
The last screening that was before the public, which everybody was aware of, were 6 candidates. And you sure saw my name there. Yes. So I'm still in the race, and I'm telling you, 100% I'm in the race. And straight to government house we go.
Put your hands together for
for him.
Mr. Ernest Umahia says the purchase of the nomination form is a clear indication that he's not backing down from his ambition of becoming the next governor of Edo State.
Governor Hope Uzodimma of Imo State says President Bola Tinubu is working assiduously to strengthen the nation's economy and end insecurity across the country. The chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum and, of course, the Imo State governor says the hardship Nigerians face currently will be a thing of the past. The governor also expressed confidence in President Tinubu's administration in solving the nation's many challenges. He spoke on our political program, Sunday Politics.
The party preached that they have a solution to the problems of the country, vis-a-vis the economy, the politics, the security. And I can tell you, without any fear of any contradiction, that the current policies of Bola Ahmed Tinubu as a president is the password to enter the system. I can tell you that what he has done by unifying the exchange rates program, what he has done by removing petroleum product subsidy, what he has done by deploying and strengthening the security architecture to address the three principal problems of the country, vis-a-vis economy, security, and then foreign exchange disparity, which will make Nigeria very strong. The cabal who are currently hoarding the dollars, who are currently sabotaging the system, who are currently angry because they are out of business as a result of this bold policy. They are still fighting. But time shall tell. And in the next couple of months, when we begin to see the result of the current policies of the current administration, Shehu, I will tell you that Nigerians will rise in unison to commend the president.
Coastal erosion and pollution threatening the Lekki Peninsula area of Lagos can be averted if tree planting is given significant attention. This was the position of some of the residents and stakeholders who came out to partake in the flag-off of the Lekki Million Trees Planting Campaign. According to the participants, the campaign is safeguarding the peninsula, which has become badly affected by erosion menace. Our correspondent, Chris Lamps, reports.
The Lekki Peninsula is about 80 kilometers long and stretches to the Ekpe Bridge. It has become home to several millions of Lagosians who reside in predominantly gated estates sited on this corridor. Developing this area has also come with its attendant consequences, which include coastal erosion. This has led to losses of monumental proportions as property are washed off and businesses fold up.
The next place I exploring into is
while the government seeks ways of mitigating the impact of this environmental degradation, some of the residents of Lekki have taken a bold step to lend a hand through the Lekki Million Trees campaign.
We have trees. The tree helps you to break the wind that comes, so it will save our roof, it will save the soil, and it will also save our lungs. So at the end of the day, what we are doing here is to save the lives of the people who live on the Lekki Peninsula.
The idea is to regenerate the greens in the peninsula to restore its environmental balance.
All this place we have used to be, jungle, so that's why you still see some names of communities within this area. You will hear Igbo Efon, you will hear Igbo Kushu. All those names are names to signify that all these places were jungle.
To guarantee the sustainability of the initiative, young children are also enlisted. There is no better way to learn than to experience it firsthand.
When trees are being planted, they also help in mental health. It can help with a lot of sicknesses, it can help people, and people that have issues. So I bet that every child should at least plant one tree, like at least every month.
Some of the participants appeal to Nigerians to cultivate the habit of supporting the environment through tree planting.
We are going from community to community, estate to estate, and advocating, sensitizing, and educating all residents on the benefits of tree planting.
Plant trees in your house and then look for opportunities to transplant. So rather than celebrate birthdays and giving out gifts, maybe you could ask for trees and celebrate your birthday on the Lekki corridor with trees.
If every Nigerian plants a tree, at least owns a tree, supports a tree planting, it has a lot of benefits.
While many may find it convenient to just sit back and complain, the Lekki Million Tree Campaign is taking steps and demonstrating that any contribution to the environment is worth taking for a sustainable future. Chris Elems, Channels Television News.
Still ahead on the news at 10, Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger withdraw their membership from ECOWAS, accusing the regional body of being influenced by foreign powers, even as ECOWAS says it is yet to receive formal notification from the three countries. Please stay with us. Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, will conduct by-elections and, of course, rerun elections across the country. Now, hopefully, these elections will close the curtains on Nigeria's 2023 general elections. Babajide Ogunsanya, founder of Leadership by Data and Channels Television's data analyst, is indeed here to share some insights going into the polls. Babajide, glad to have you on again on the News at 10.
It's always a pleasure to be with you here today.
All right, so this Saturday is another day at the polls. What is the outlook, Babajide? I mean, tell us, what are the trends or key statistics to look out for in these elections?
Speaking of key statistics, three numbers that you probably want to, and everyone wants to write down. 3, 6, 39. I repeat, 3, 6, 39. That's what these elections are all about. These by-elections and rerun elections. I'll explain what 3, 6, 39 means. Since the general elections, 3 persons that won have died. They've passed away. And so elections will be happening to replace those 3 seats. 6 persons.
You probably want to mention those states?
We'll
get to that.
We'll definitely go into that. But just follow these thoughts. 3 persons passed away. 6 persons have had their seats vacant because they've resigned and they've got other appointments from the president. Again, that big number, 6. And then we have 39. 39 persons have gone to courts, and the courts have said there should be a rerun election. And so those first 2 numbers, 3, 6, they stand for what we classify as by-elections. And then that number 39, where persons went to court and the court ordered rerun elections, is what will be happening. So 39 re-elections, 3 elections for persons that have passed away, 6 elections for those that have resigned and gotten other appointments. So I'd like us to start the analysis by taking a look at what you had asked. Where are those places that persons have passed away? First is 1 seat, House of Assembly seat in Chikun local government in Kaduna State. In Kaduna State, totally, we have 34 assembly seats there. So 1 is vacant. We also have in Bono, we have 28 assembly seats in Bono. 1 is vacant in Chibok. The House of Assembly member in Chibok passed away. And then in Taraba State, we have a House of Representative member that won, PDP member that passed away. So that election in Taraba State will be happening in Taraba North, was won by PDP. The other representative from Taraba State in Taraba North, PDP. The governor, PDP. So if you were a betting man, if you look at the statistics, it gives you, perhaps looking at the history, what might happen in Taraba, what might happen in Bono, especially looking at it that there's only 1 House of Assembly seat vacant in Bono, and only 1 House of Assembly seat vacant in Kaduna. So that wraps up what is exactly the outlook for those 3 seats where persons have passed because of natural cases. Then clearly we have those 6 locations where appointments have made those seats vacant. 1 in Kebbi, 1 in Benue, 1 in Yobe, 1 in Lagos State, 1 in Ondo State, and 1 in Ebonyi State. So that's pretty much what we mean by by-elections. 3 persons have passed, and those 6 places I've mentioned where the seats are vacant because of appointments.
All right, interesting. So will the rerun elections, change the political map or balance of power in any way from what we're about to witness?
It is unlikely, but what we know is the struggle for power is getting more intense. INEC has told us that we'll be having rerun elections in 39 places. But I remember 4 years ago when persons went to court and the court ordered rerun elections. Then there were only 30 rerun elections 4 years ago. So we've moved from 30 rerun elections 4 years ago where the courts had ordered for re-election to now almost 39 rerun elections. However, what we are looking at is, if we take a look at the numbers, most of these court cases that were won were at the state houses of assembly. Here's what I mean. Yes, we have 39. 1, 13, 25 altogether gives you 39. One of those rerun elections that the court ordered will be happening at the Senate. Plateau State, Plateau North will be having a rerun election because the court has ordered it. House of Reps, 13 House of Rep members won their court cases. 8 of them, Northern Nigeria, 5 in Southern Nigeria. So for the House of Representative members, yes, we're having 13 rerun elections, but majority of those reruns are happening in Northern Nigeria. And then for the House of Assembly seats where most of those rerun elections are happening, 25. Again, similar to the House of Representatives senior, where majority is happening in the North. Across these 25 State House of Assembly seats, 17 are happening in Northern Nigeria. So the insight here is, yes, we're having a rerun. Yes, looking at 4 years ago, most of this, we're seeing more struggle for power. We're having more reruns than we did 4 years ago. But the insight here is most of the monies that will be spent to organize the rerun will be spent to organize elections across Northern Nigeria, because like the information you have in front of you, that Senate rerun is happening in Plateau State. Majority of the House of Representatives seats rerun happening in Northern Nigeria. A significant majority of the House of Assembly seats, out of the 25 House of Assembly seats rerun, 17 are happening in Northern Nigeria. So it lets us know that Northern Nigeria is likely going to be where the attention will be and where the pressure will be on Saturday.
Interesting. So
service chief said yesterday, and you listened to what the Chief of Defense Staff General Christopher Musa said. Christopher Musa, yes, that's his name, said. He said the security agencies have a plan A, plan B, and plan C. So that's big, and that's good news. And unlike previous elections, the output from their deliberation was that they've chosen to actually look at the analytics and look at the numbers from INEC. And so they've talked about what their plan A will be, even though they didn't make their plan B and plan C public. And if we take a look at exactly what their plan A is, looking at their use of analytics, the information we're getting is that most of the security agencies are looking at the areas where persons have collected their PVCs, and the information clearly shows that the North Central is where the action will be happening. Across all the zones where elections will be happening, 1.8 million persons have picked up their PVCs. However, 1.1 million of those are in the North Central. So what they're saying is the North Central is priority, followed by the Northwest, where we have more than 400,000 persons with PVCs voters who will be coming out for this election. So it's good news to know that analytics is now playing a role in security planning. But perhaps the most important thing that we should end with tonight is INEC has talked about conducting 2 elections, by-elections and rerun elections. But Ayotunde, on Saturday, we'll be having 3 elections. INEC will be conducting 1 by-election. INEC will be conducting another rerun election. However, the citizens have said they will be conducting an election for INEC called a trustworthiness election. So when the results come out this Saturday, we'll be looking to get 3 types of results. First is how good were the rerun elections, how good were the by-elections, and how good did INEC do with these elections, with the people are conducting for it, trustworthiness. And so it'll be interesting to see, especially that 3rd result, INEC's trustworthiness score.
Well, definitely that was what it means. All eyes perhaps on INEC this time around.
Oh, yes, 3 elections happening, not 2. 3 elections.
Thank you so much, Babajide, for your thoughts on the news at 10.
Anthony, the pleasure is all mine.
The Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Musa Dangiwa, says the federal government is working to ensure that land is readily available for the provision of houses for all Nigerians. The minister was speaking in an exclusive interview with Channels Television. According to him, the unavailability of land is a major factor contributing to the housing challenge in the country.
We have just established a task team reform team that has had the responsibility of ensuring the Land Use Act is looked into, is reformed through, of course, the National Assembly, the state governments, the traditional institutions. So a committee of those stakeholders has already been established to look into that. At the end of the day, we create the National Land Commission that will be looking into the matters of land issues. We must ensure that through that committee, some of the tasks, some of the terms of reference we've given them, to find easy access to land, to ensure that all the stakeholders are brought together for them to know that once land is not accessible and made available to Nigerians, then the issue of housing will not be a reality, and Nigerians will keep suffering on that. So that committee has already been set up, and they are looking into it. Already there is a presidential committee on land reforms that they have done an extensive work on that. So we are also putting that into that committee so that quickly, within the shortest possible time, maximum of 8 weeks, to bring up with the framework on how to approach the National Assembly, through also with the state governors, to ensure that we review the Land Use Act to make land more accessible to Nigerians.
To catch the full interview with the Minister of Housing and Urban Development, Musa Dangiwa, please watch Newsnight on Monday at 9 p.m. on all Channels television platforms. And now to the arts. If By Chance We Meet is a group exhibition by artists in Lagos. The group were selected after a residency program to sharpen their artistic skills. We see their works on Art Review tonight.
Unconventional spaces have been used for exhibitions, and this one in Lagos is not an exception. The idea is to bring art closer to the people. After a successful residency program, the TR Art Residency presents the result of the project, which is this group exhibition by the artists titled If By Chance We Meet.
It draws its backstory from how these artists were brought into a residency, the TR Art Residency, founded by Dr. Tony Rappo. And so in looking at what many people would term coincidences, because there was a call for application and then the artists were selected. In looking at those things that we think are coincidence, could they really sometimes be fate?
The knowledge gained during the program allowed these budding artists to explore new goals and inspiration, which is the essence of the initiative, to unearth a fresh crop of creatives.
When you look at their works, you can tell that they inspired themselves as artists during their time in the residency. They were also inspired by the mentors, because they afforded these artists, established artists, to come talk to them and mentor them during their stay there. So this title looks at this exhibition from different perspectives, between the institute, the Art Institute, and the artists, between the artists and the artists, and between visitors or collectors, art enthusiasts who will engage with their works, and by extension engage with the artists. Basically, from this 3 point of view, that was how we came up with the title, If By Chance We Meet, What Happens? So it looks at what happens when artists meet, what happens when collectors come in contact with artists' works, what happens when an institute decides to take up the initiative to help emerging artists, that kind of thing. So from multiple perspectives, that's how we decided the name If By Chance We Meet.
The artists explain how they've contributed to the exhibition.
Today we are talking about the ties that bind, and my work deals a lot with the communion of people. That means like the community, what we long for as people, which is being able to have connections with other people. So even if we try to be self-sufficient, it doesn't take away the fact that we actually want to be able to connect with other people. So I feel like that's how my work ties to today's theme.
Several young artists added different interesting concepts, techniques, and stories to this group exhibition.
Welcome to Sports News. Mobile phone manufacturer Tecno brought together football lovers from across Lagos State in an atmosphere charged with the energy of the beautiful game. Tecno, official sponsor of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations, ensured that fans enjoyed a blend of football and music at the Spark 20 AFCON watch party.
Excited fans gather for a football extravaganza put together at Jara Mall in Ikeja by mobile phone manufacturers Tecno. Tecno, in collaboration with their partners, goes the extra mile with the Spark 20 AFCON viewing party to guarantee an unforgettable experience for everyone as they watch the African Cup of Nations round of 16 matches.
We have many people that have got these devices, these Spark 20 devices, and they love it. So what more can we do? Come and party. Come and enjoy yourself. Come and take selfies with your phone, your clear camera, clear 32MP camera, or your device.
The Tecno Spark 20 has a feature whereby you can actually stream live the AFCON show live from your device. So you don't need to go anywhere, you don't need to plug anything, just have your data and you can watch the AFCON live from your phone. Trust Tecno, we stop at nothing. We expect more from Tecno as we're going to deliver nothing but the best to everybody in Nigeria.
The Tecno Spark 20 AFCON viewing party is a fusion of football and music, creating an unmissable experience that will linger in the minds of football fans.
If you try to see what Tecno try to do, they try to infuse entertainment into football. So it's more or less like you're having a two dose. You get like a football fan and a fan from the entertainment.
Definitely, it's a wonderful phone, by the way, and the event is wonderful. It brings Tecno fans and football fans together, and everyone is just here to have fun.
Nigerian Idol winner Victory Bakara is on hand to deliver a theme song for Spark 20.
This is the first time in history that any Tecno phone has actually had a theme song for itself, and it was just amazing and beautiful. The crowd was energetic, and I just love the brand.
Nigeria's Super Eagles rewarded football fans for their support with a convincing 2-0 victory over Cameroon, which was greeted with a loud shouts of celebration. With this unforgettable experience, customers can be assured of Tecno's commitment to providing the best of football and entertainment.
Mohamed Bayo headed in a dramatic winner in the 8th minute of injury time as Guinea beat 10-man Equatorial Guinea 1-0 earlier this evening to advance to the quarterfinals of the Africa Cup of Nations. The last 16 tie at the Ebimpe Olympic Stadium in Abidjan was heading for extra time when Bayo of French Liga side Le Havre struck right at the death to spark frenzied scenes of celebration among the Guinea team and their large supporters. It was a historic moment for the Style National, who had never previously won a Cup of Nations knockout tie. They were runners-up way back in 1976 in an era when the Final Four played a round-robin format to decide the winner of the trophy. Super Eagles head coach Jose Peseiro says there is still a lot to be done as the three-time African champions turn their attention to the quarter-final clash against Angola on February the 2nd. Coach Peseiro says he's still awaiting the medical report of the goalkeeper, Stanley Wabeli, to determine the extent of his injury after he was stretchered off in that game against Cameroon.
It's impossible to evaluate immediately the situation. Need 24, 48 hours for you know what happened. His enthusiasm, he told me, Miss, I recover for next match. But sure, if you cannot, you go to play the goalkeeper. He played the 11 players. I believe in all my players, but I would like which he recover. I think in this moment, all the teams can win this tournament. I want to win, but the level is not being different. The level, Angola, okay, is the name is not Angola. I didn't win one time the AFCON, but he showed very good performance. He showed until now very good performance. For me, I don't know what the people in Nigeria think. For me, maximum responsibility. If you want to beat Angola, must do our best, like today.
The military governments of Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger have announced they no longer want to be members of the regional body ECOWAS. In a joint communique released this evening, the three governments said ECOWAS was being influenced by foreign powers, betraying its founding principles and had become a threat to member states. It accused ECOWAS of not providing assistance to their states in the context of their existential fight against terrorism and insecurity. The statement reads, quote, "Faced with this continuing situation, Their Excellencies Captain Ibrahim Traore, Colonels Assimi Goita and Brigadier General Abdurrahman Chiani, respectively heads of state of Burkina Faso, the Republic of Mali and the Republic of Niger, taking all their responsibilities in the face of history and responding to the expectations, concerns and aspirations of their populations, decide in complete sovereignty on the immediate withdrawal of Burkina Faso, Mali and Niger from the economic community of West African states." ECOWAS has responded with a statement denying receipt of a formal notification from the three member states about their intention to withdraw from the community, but that it has been working with the countries for the restoration of constitutional order. Now, the Economic Community of West African States, ECOWAS, has a procedure for member states withdrawal, which, had these countries been governed by civilian rule, will have applied in this situation. Therefore, the announcement by the three junta in a communique is very abnormal for countries wishing to exit the regional community. Our Foreign Affairs correspondent, Amarachi Ubani, reports.
Withdrawing from the Economic Community of West African States is not a tedious process, as some would think. It only requires a year's notice, as stipulated in the ECOWAS revised treaty, which states, "Any member state wishing to withdraw from the community shall give to the Executive Secretary 1 year's notice in writing, who shall inform member states thereof. At the expiration of this period, if such notice is not withdrawn, such a state shall cease to be a member of the community."
Uphold all measures and principles agreed upon.
So far, since its establishment in 1975, the only country that has withdrawn membership from the ECOWAS is Mauritania, when it did so in December 2000. The main goal of the ECOWAS is to promote economic cooperation among member states in order to raise living standards and promote economic development. ECOWAS has also worked to address some security issues by developing a peacekeeping force for conflicts in the region and established its free trade area in 1990 and adopted a common external tariff in January of 2015. In the last 4 years, there have been 7 military coups in West and Central Africa. 4 of these countries are members of ECOWAS. Mali, with the ousting of President Ibrahim Boubacar Keïta in 2020, followed by a second coup against interim President Colonel Ba Ndor in 2021. Guinea in 2021, Burkina Faso in 2022, and Niger in 2023. The Niger military coup was perhaps the most shocking for ECOWAS and the one which drew the most reaction, not just from member states, but the continent and indeed the world.
It is crucial that we prioritize diplomatic negotiations.
Nigeria's new president, Bola Tinubu, backed ECOWAS' decision to employ all means to restore the civilian rule of Nigerian President Mohamed Bazoum, including the use of military force. The ECOWAS announcement was its toughest stance yet, although some compare the Niger situation to that of the Gambia, when ECOWAS sent 7,000 troops from neighboring Senegal to compel President Yahya Jammeh to go into exile and cede the presidency to Adama Barrow, who had defeated him in an election. With the recent coup in Burkina Faso, Niger and Mali, ECOWAS is engaged in negotiations with the junta to no avail. The military leaders insist on having their way, but apart from denying knowledge of withdrawal by the three countries, the question is, what happens in the meantime? Amarachi Ubani, Channel Television News.
And that's the news at 10 tonight. Many thanks for watching. I'm Ayo Tunde Balogun. Do have a good night and have a great week.